like you to talk about your life as a software developer, the challenges you face, how you managed to overcome the depression, the everything like your life, your all the details about you as a software developer, how you started your career, you get. So I just want you to be 100% transparent to our viewers and tell them everything they need to know as your life about your life as a software developer. So you can probably encourage them in one way or the other. So first of all, Jerry, you'll be the one to tell us about yourself, your career, your life as a software developer. Then after that, I'll probably ask you questions based on the answers you give me. And hope you can hear me right. Okay. So Jerry, tell us about your life as a
Yeah,
software
sounds good.
developer. Yeah, tell us.
Alrighty. So I'm a full stack web developer, I guess is what you call it. I live in Los Angeles. I've been doing this for about probably 5 years now. I primarily work with like small businesses and stuff. I've done some other agency work here and there, but for the most part, focusing on small businesses. Like I said, I'm full time freelancer. I used to do other things, and then a few years ago, I went back to school for graphic design, and then I found code while I was doing the classes, and then I was hooked. I wanted to do all the code, so I'm like fully immersed in the JavaScript environment now. Everything I do is built pretty much in JavaScript, whether it be React, Gatsby, whatever.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, I don't know. What else do you want to know?
just keep telling us how were you able to like start coding when you started coding? How challenging was it? Things like that because you don't just start writing HTML. How were you able to go through the struggle of writing your first HTML code, seeing how everything works?
Sure. Yeah. So my first class was like the fundamentals of web design, right? So you just build like a super simple HTML page, put some markup in there, and then you add some CSS, and you don't even there's like no JavaScript at all, right? You're just like a super simple page. It's challenging, of course, because you got to learn the syntax, you got to learn how things work, you got to start thinking a little bit differently.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
yeah, I don't know. And then like it snowballs after that. You just keep adding on more and more stuff until eventually you end up where I'm at as a full stack developer, working server side, doing all this stuff. But it takes time. It's not something that you can just I saw somebody post a video. They're like, you can learn React in 30 minutes. No, you can't. It takes a long time to go through all that stuff, and that's anything in software development. No matter what you're doing, it's going to take time to yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I get your point, bro. Like I
yeah, I
think
mean, it's I wouldn't say it was hard. It's just it requires a lot of work.
yeah, it does, it does.
Yeah.
So, yeah, is there any other thing you want to share with us, or we can go ahead? Because after this, I will probably ask you some questions based on the
Yeah.
answer you give to me, and you get. So, is there any other thing you wish to share with us?
hmm
Okay. So, John.
No, not right now. I think I'll hand it over to Bosco. Let him talk for a little bit.
Okay. So, John,
Yeah, yes,
Bosco,
yes. Andrew, I can hear you.
you can tell us about you.
Andrew, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Are you still with
you
me?
can tell us about you now.
Okay. So, I'm a full stack software developer. I work more at the back end.
Okay.
So I started web development in 2012. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Can I
can.
continue?
Sure, I can.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I started web development in 2012 during the long strike, during the long university strike. So I picked interest in web development. During that time, within I couldn't get much resources on the web like it is right now.
Okay.
I couldn't get much resources on the web like it is right now to start web development. So basically, I started with HTML, CSS, and PHP
Wow,
back
wow.
then, and I got into professional software development in 2015.
Okay.
I got into professional software in 2015. I work with educational institution. Okay, I joined. There was this agency that I worked with. We provided services to schools, secondary schools, and colleges. We provided educational portals and some other services, some other web services to them. So currently, now I'm working as a freelance full stack developer.
Wow. So almost you and Jerry almost have the same story. So it was because of the
Uh,
strike during that period that motivated you to go and learn software development, right?
you said?
It was because of the strike at the university that period that helped you or motivated you to learn software.
Yeah, yes,
Okay,
exactly.
okay, okay.
It was quite a long strike.
So it
I think
wasn't
it was about 7 to 8 months,
it wasn't your intention to actually learn software.
almost a year.
Wow, wow. What university is that in Nigeria?
Uh, It, it was my education because actually I was studying computer engineering in the university then.
Okay. So how do you
I was studying computer engineering in
when
the
you
university.
started coding, how was it? Were you able to grab all the information at once, or it really takes time? Because I can remember back then I had to take note, but I was busy learning HTML so hard because I was thinking that HTML is the main stuff because I have no one talking to me like, bro, you need to leave this HTML and focus more on your JavaScript and CSS. You understand where I'm going to? So I was busy learning all HTML tags
Yeah,
you
yes.
properly see on W3 school. So I was busy learning everything. So how was it? Like tell me your part of the story because everybody surely have a story.
Yeah, yes, definitely. So I when I started with HTML, it was quite overwhelming, and I didn't really have anybody to look over my shoulders to tell me do it this way, do it that way. What I started with then was that I had this should I say he's a mentor of mine. Then he gave me this very big book. It's quite a large book on HTML, CSS, and PHP. So I just started it with that book. I don't know how to use the Google to search for anything at all.
Google is your
All
friend,
my
so Google is your
references, I was
friend.
just learning from
Google is your friend.
so I was just learning from that book. So that was where I started. It was quite overwhelming at first.
Okay.
It was really hard for me.
Wow.
Yes, but I had to continue gradually. Started from HTML, I went into CSS. Then from CSS, PHP was the learning PHP was the hardest part because I didn't actually know what I was doing at that moment. I really didn't grab all
So
of it. So
I
it
will
took
ask
quite some time for the knowledge to fall in
I will
together
ask you a pretty
for me
nice
to.
question right now. Do you actually think it's okay for a beginner to actually leave HTML, CSS, and start PHP? Because I see most beginners out there, they just feel that they really need to learn PHP
No,
before
no,
they get to heaven or get that cash flowing from it.
no,
Do you think it's actually okay for them to learn PHP or focus more on
no,
the design?
no.
Because there's something I know for sure
No, I
is
don't think so.
there's something I know for sure. It is better to know a particular field like front end, know it very well that no matter what you'll be able to code or implement any design, or to know the back end in a way that no matter what you'll be able to
Okay.
implement the logic. You understand? So for me, I don't think it is a good idea for a beginner to
Yes.
just instead of being more focused on the front end and get to know it very well and maybe learn the back end later in the future. So what do you think, Jerry? Is it okay for a beginner to go learn PHP when he or she is not actually done learning the fundamentals of CSS and JavaScript?
It's funny. This conversation actually came up in a meetup that I went to earlier in the week. There's a JavaScript LA meetup that happens every month, and the topic of conversation was, should you jump into frameworks or should you learn the basics first? And I think the consensus was you need to learn the basics first. My course was set up that way, so I kind of benefited from that without even knowing. Like, you learn HTML, you learn CSS, you learn JavaScript, but you learn like the bare, the beginning, no frameworks, no nothing, whatever. You have to do that first, because then when you go use a framework, now you understand why like it's so helpful, right? So it's like jQuery, right? You can do all these long stuff in vanilla JavaScript, find the ID, whatever, or you can do this one little dollar sign and then find the tag. But you're not going to know how much that improves your life unless you know why it improves your life.
Exactly.
So, yeah, you need to. I'm not saying you can't just go out and learn PHP, but I mean, PHP is like a monster, right? It's complicated. It's
Yeah, sure it is, bro.
there's a
It
lot
is.
to it, but you need to learn the basics first.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's still the same. We all need to learn. If you want to focus on the back end, focus on the
Yeah.
back end. If you want to focus on the front end, maybe you should just focus on the front
Okay,
end.
so Andrew, what I would just add to what Jerry said is, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, I can.
What I will add to what Jerry said is just what he just is just like it's just like building a house without a foundation. I don't know if you've ever seen a house without a foundation before,
Yeah, I've
because me, I've not.
I've seen everybody. I've seen.
I've not. It's just like building a house without a foundation. The house won't stand for long. Okay, so you need to go through the basics first
Okay.
so that you understand how it works.
Yeah.
Then you move from the basics to the advanced. You don't start from the advanced coming down to the basics.
Yeah, it really hurts you. It really hurts you later in the future.
When you do it like that, things will get really overwhelming for you.
Okay. So I guess that is pretty much everything. So I
Yeah.
can ask my questions right now. So I don't know if our viewers, if you have any question to ask,
Okay.
you guys can probably ask us, drop a message on the notification, which I which I can't view it right now. I don't know why. So drop a link on the. Okay. So I have some questions for you guys. Development is a lifestyle, a way of life that not so easy to adapt. So what tips do you have for someone starting? It is not easy to just wake up every day and code and code and code. It is not easy to adapt to that kind of lifestyle and live in the outside world and just focus on software development. So what do you think is your advice for someone starting up? So Jerry.
I think the biggest part for me, I guess probably the biggest challenge for me as like a freelancer is organization. Uh, you need to like plan out what you're gonna do before you do it. I think that's kind of like a basic, project management tool, but I mean, it applies specifically for software development. You need to figure out all the things you're going to do before
You
you
do it.
even do it.
Okay.
And also, take breaks, like plan for breaks, because there's been times where, I'll just be like trying to get this thing to work, and then
It's really
I'll spend like
frustrating.
4 hours on it. And then I'll be like, I can't get it to work. And then I'll take a break. I'll come back and I'll fix it in like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Just because, your brain needs to
Rest.
process things.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, I think so. I think organization and taking breaks is probably the best thing.
Okay, we haven't still said anything about the lifestyle because every day I keep seeing posts like this is the way a software developer lives his life. A software developer don't need to have a girlfriend or need to go to the best of parties. So it's actually true about software engineers because I keep seeing beginners day and night posting pictures like that. I'm a software developer. I don't have a girlfriend. So, do you think someone actually needs to leave the outside world in order to achieve whatever you want in software development? For me, it's a big no. So, what do you think?
Well, at the end of the day, it's a job. So you have to have a good work life balance no matter what you're doing. Um, just because you're a software engineer doesn't mean you get to not have a life outside of that. You definitely, yeah. I mean, live your life, man.
Just,
Your life shouldn't revolve around
yeah,
code 24 hours a
yeah.
day.
The life is too short to play around on things sometimes. So, so what do you think about the question? How do you think a beginner can adapt to the new lifestyle of software development?
Is that me? Are you? Is the question channel
Yeah,
to
it's
my
for
Yeah.
side
you.
now?
What are you thinking?
Because I think I lost you. I lost your voice at the first part of the question. So that's why, yeah,
Okay, your
I'm
connection is
asking.
still
Okay.
bad.
I would say software development is more like every other career. Okay, so you need to take your time. You need to get the experience, and you still need to. Will I say? I will borrow from Jerry. You need to balance your life between your career and living your life as a normal person. Now, why most times people still take software development like the software? How will I put it? Like I'm just thinking about the movie that I should call. Those kind of hacker movies that you see now. Like you see,
Yeah, with plants
this is a
waving
software
and he's playing
developer.
the
He
flute
has
all
good.
day.
He's always yeah. He's always yeah, exactly. So he has who he's always in front of the system 247, 24 hours, 48 hours. So that's how most people see software development now, or that's how some people see it. But that's not the way it's supposed to be. Maybe it can be
Yeah.
that for you, but you need to
No,
get
it
a
can't
life.
be
You need
that
to
for me. You
balance. You need
can't
to
say it will be that
balance
for me.
career
It
with your
can't.
life. Yeah?
It can't be like that for me. I still have time for private things like girlfriend, family, and
Yeah, exactly,
normal
exactly. It's
lifestyle.
still much more like every other career. So you just need to take your time, learn the basics, and go with it.
Okay.
Okay, and balance. Have a balance between your career and your life.
On your
Okay.
lifestyle. That's a very good point you have. I don't think I have a question for you anymore. So looking at the
Okay.
numerous framework and technology, how do you suggest starters should make a choice of what to work with? Because out there you can see a job. I need. You can see a job and maybe the CTO might probably say, I need someone with the knowledge of oh god, okay. Oh, your CTO might probably say, I need someone with the knowledge of React, Redux, HTML, CSS, and almost everything. You understand? So, how do you think? What do you think is your advice for companies out there based on what software or what framework they should work with? Because you can't expect a normal software engineer to have a knowledge of React, Bootstrap, every front end software out there. You understand? And the thing is that a software engineer might probably have that knowledge, but might not actually have a very good idea about how to work with it. You understand? Like knowing the back end and front end, for sure you might surely be perfect on one field and not the other. So what do you think? What do you think about it, bro? Based on technology, and what do you think
Um,
is the best way for them to work? So Jerry, do you have an answer to that?
okay.
I don't really understand what you're asking.
Okay, looking at the
Okay.
numerous frameworks,
I get it.
plenty of
I get it
frameworks out there, how do you
in a little
suggest
bit.
starters should make the choice of what they work with? Can you understand now?
I'll just let John Bosco answer first, and then I'll follow up.
Let me rephrase the question. remove it, or let me just rephrase what you're trying to say. Okay,
Okay.
so I'll say what you're trying to say is how do we advise starters to pick a framework over the other,
Yeah.
Mm.
or to stick to what they are using
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
over some other thing, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, okay. This is what I would say. When you start web development, I'll always advise you to just learn the basics and try using, just basically try doing the front end and the back end first, so that you can identify your strengths and your weakness.
Okay.
Okay, you can identify where you are good at and where you're not good at. You don't need to bend where you're not good at so that you be good there. You just need to focus on your strengths. If you are good at front end, you focus on front end and continue with it, because there is a lot of jobs there. If
Mhm.
you are good at back end, you focus on back end. Then when you come over to front end or back end, maybe you can learn like one or two or three frameworks. Yeah, if you're going over to front end, at least React is popular, Angular is also okay, and Vue.js. I think these are the three popular frameworks there. You also, as in, you need to look at the job market. Then you pick the frameworks that you need to learn. You don't
Exactly.
need to learn them all. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah,
So
you don't need to know them all, because you can't always be on the top of all of it all
okay.
in web
I
development.
want to
That's
ask
not
you. I want to
possible.
ask you a pretty good question right now. Based on front end, you said you're a full stack developer, right? Okay. So
Yes.
based on the front end, what do you think are the basic technology a front end developer should at least be able to know in order to get a job out there as a software engineer?
Okay. The basic technology that you need to know to get a job as an engineer is, you need to know HTML, you need to know your CSS, you also need to know your JavaScript. This is the basic.
Okay. So what about the
Yes.
back end? What about the back end? And when you're talking about the basic on the front end aspect, what about your React, any other framework? Because I have for some months now, I haven't seen a job based on just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. There's always like two or more frameworks out there you get. So they might probably attach one framework to it. So what framework do you think a
Yeah,
beginner
if
should
you're
learn?
if you're definitely good in, one thing with frameworks is, one thing with frameworks are, framework is just frameworks were built on the language itself. So if you are good in JavaScript, you can learn React in, at least you can learn the basics of React. It's not like being a master in React. You can learn the basics of React in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks. Okay, you can build
Seriously?
something good in 3 weeks with React. So you don't
Seriously?
you don't need to know the in and out of a framework. Can you hear me?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I can. So you mean someone can actually learn React
Okay.
within
Yeah.
three
So
weeks?
you don't need to know the in and out of a framework, or you don't need to be an expert in framework to get to get a very good job on it.
Okay.
Because people, we grow every day, we learn new things every day. So far you know the basics, at least well enough. Learning the framework is just a breeze for you. Just understand the syntax and understand how they flow, and you go on with it.
Okay. So Jerry, what do you have for us based on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same thing as what he was saying. So I'm gonna get like an example is in React, right? So if you don't know JavaScript very well, if you don't know how functions work, when you go into React, you're just like putting components together, but you don't really understand what's going on. But if you understand how functions work, how classes work, how the DOM works, then it won't take you very long to figure out how to use React. But if you didn't have that basics background, you're not going to be able to figure. It's going to be very hard. So just along the same sentiment as what he said, just learn the basics first, and then you can jump from whatever framework to whatever framework relatively easily.
Okay, okay. So I think one thing about learning React is you need to actually drop mind the kind of tutorial you're listening to and the kind of ebooks you read. because I remember back then when I was about learning React, I went and I was learning this old ebook. You understand? So you actually need to know what we actually have right now in JavaScript, like knowing ESC syntax. Because if you don't get to learn ESC syntax and basic of ESC syntax, you will actually find it very difficult working with React. Because I have to go back to the the normal JavaScript and learn ESCs before I was able to get along with my React. So I guess that is it. So do you have any question based on what I just said, or we are good to go?
No, no, I don't.
No.
Okay. So our next question is, development can be time consuming. What possible way can we implement to build a balanced way of life with other things in our life, such as family, friends, and personal stuff? What way? It's almost the same thing like the first question, but
What did he say?
you know, develop development can be time
What did he say? Andrew.
development can be time consuming, like working with your everyday job and having your family, like you having a girlfriend that stays with you and trying to actually work on the time span. So how do you do that? I think this particular question is not based on beginner, it's based on as you as a professional software engineer. How do you minimize your time with your girlfriend, your maybe if you have a kid? So
Hmm.
Jerry.
Well, for me, I mean, it's about setting boundaries. So you block your time. You say, I'm going to spend this number of hours on this thing, and then when the is done, then I'm not going to do that anymore. And it depends on. I mean, that's a hard question because it depends on your relationship, right? Like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I can sit down on my couch and like work on a little thing, while we're watching TV or whatever. It's not a big deal, but for some people, that doesn't work out. It depends on your relationship. So I feel like that's more of a relationship question than it is a job question. But just set boundaries. It starts here, it ends here, and go from there.
Don't
That's
disturb me when I'm doing this. Right? Okay, what about you, John?
I think Jerry has said it all. It's more like setting your boundaries. Okay, so you pick out your time. You say, okay, this is what I want to do from now on, or this is what I'm doing right now. You get it. I don't really know how to put up the question, but my contribution to that is this. Like I said, it's just more like software development. It's like a career job or like a career work. Anyhow that you want to put it. So you really need to put in your time and set your schedules right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to get better, you know what to do. That means you have to work harder in it. So that's basically what I would say there.
So my next question right here is what do you think a beginner needs to do? Like what job, what project they need to work on? What actually do a beginner need to do in order to get hired as a software engineer? Because it is not easy to get hired with zero experience. Most company out there won't hire you if you have no experience on software development. So what do you think a beginner needs to do based on that? And what is your advice to companies out there that are not willing to hire a developer with zero experience?
Nobody is ready to hire you with zero experience now.
Yeah, when you
Normal
haven't
companies
worked
don't do
when
that.
you haven't worked with a company, you have to be what then do you do? So what is the advice? What can a
Give
beginner do
yourself
in order to get hired? Yeah, just like all those guys out there.
okay.
You can't tell us that.
Okay. This is how I started mine, and this is something that I will always tell anybody. When you start your software development, either as a hobby or as a career, either way, because most people jump into software development as a hobby, like something fun. Okay, then later they transition into a career. Um, in it. So either way, when you start your software development journey, try and build your portfolio, because that's your experience.
Okay.
Okay, so those jobs that you do, or those simple pages that you design, the to do app, the whatever, your portfolio site, just basically anything. Don't go for big projects when you're starting. Don't go and say I will replicate Facebook. You can't do that. I will replicate this. You will just build a box of functionalities for nobody. So start with small projects, understand what you're doing, um consolidate the basics there, and maybe also just basically build small mini projects as a beginner. Then later, maybe you can build something that people will use. I don't know, whatever it is. But the more you're building projects, that's the more you're building your portfolio, and that's how you build your experience in it. Because if you don't work with a company, you have to give yourself that experience
Okay.
yourself.
So is it advisable for you to actually build free projects for people, like going to a supermarket and tell them I will build something for you for free? Can a
Yes,
beginner also do that?
yes, exactly.
Okay. So
Yes,
okay.
it's advisable to do that. Yeah, I will advise that.
So Jerry, what's your point of view based on this question?
Yeah, that's there's nothing I can add to that, but I will say that a really good place to start for beginners is contributing to open source, because it exposes you to existing code bases, which is more likely in the actual, the real world or whatever, is that you're going to be going into an existing project and then working on it. So it gives you that experience. It gives you experience with getting your code reviewed, because there's always going to be a set number of maintainers for all the open source projects.
Yeah.
And they're going to review your code before it gets pushed to whatever. And then it also, so it gives you the collaboration piece, it gives you exposure, and you can put it on your portfolio, right? Like, you don't have to say I built freecodecamp.com or .org, but you contributed to it, right? Like, you
Yeah.
did a module, or fixed some stuff or whatever, but that, you can put it on your portfolio.
Revog anything.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if eventually, faithfully, a beginner get hired, what do you think they should expect? Because I can remember when I got hired at my first company, I faced a lot of challenges from experienced developers out there because they were very rude. They're not ready to take someone along. All they want you to do is put your knowledge on the project. Don't ask me a question. Just do your part of the job. I have mine doing. So based on my own experience, what other things do you think they should expect from the outside world in order for them not to be that surprised when they actually get to that dream job of being a software engineer? So John.
Mm, I didn't get the question right, please. Could you phrase it a little more, or be a little more specific?
Okay, I said if a beginner get hired, if a beginner get hired, and eventually a beginner get hired as a software engineer, what do you think they should expect from the company? What should they
Yeah.
expect? You understand?
Okay. If a beginner gets hired as a software engineer, so what they should what what I would advise you to expect from the company is, in fact, just um in doing your daily, or your just in executing your daily tasks, always ask for help. If the company culture supports that, if the people that you're working with, like you mentioned, you said, the place you worked, I don't know if they are toxic people. I don't know the I don't actually understand their state of mind. So I'll always tell you, as a beginner, um always ask for help from the more experienced people. Then secondly is, make Google your best friend. If if the experienced people are not ready to listen to you.
Google is always there for you.
Okay, yeah,
They won't
make
give up
Google
on
your best
you.
friend because exactly.
Okay, nice point there. Nice point there,
Yeah.
John. So, Jerry, do you want to add to that? I don't think we
So
can actually exercise it any much longer. Do you want to add anything to that, or we can move on?
The only thing I would add is that to check your ego at the door. I mean, you're coming into a company, they already have established ways of doing things, so you need to figure out what they want and then solve it for them. Not like, well, I don't like this framework because whatever, this one's better. Just use what they have, and then once you're there for a while, you can start changing stuff. But don't come in there like I know everything. Don't do that.
Okay. Okay. Nice one, nice one. So, Jerry, I want you to be the first person to answer this question. Like, you must have seen this post not once, not twice. How I got to learn software development within 3 months or within a week. You might even see someone say something like within 3 days. You understand? And based on that particular stuff, is it okay for a beginner to actually compare yourself with others? Like, okay, Transversal Media said he learned how to code within 3 weeks. Then is it okay for a beginner to actually compare himself with someone else there, knowing too well that we all learn at a different speed and time? You understand? So do you think it is okay for a beginner to compare himself with others?
No, I don't think it's ever a good idea to compare yourself to anybody. Not just in the software world, but just in life. Like, I'm not going to compare myself to Olympic athletes. They're on a different track than me. They dedicate 12 to 15 hours every day honing whatever their craft is, but maybe they can't build a website. Two totally different tracks, right? Uh, and everybody learns differently. Everybody has different ways, and everybody has different stuff going on in their life. Like, if you have 10 to 12 hours a day to dedicate learning JavaScript, yeah, you could probably learn it in like 3 weeks. Not to an expert level, but to a level where you can, you know, uh, I don't know, like a beginner level. But to say that you can become a programmer in 3 weeks is ridiculous in my mind. No matter how smart you are, because there's you're not going to retain that much information, right? So I don't know. That's a ridiculous statement. It's just clickbait, is what it is, and people want the easy path to jobs. Like, they'll see a job like, oh, Google's hiring front end engineers for $160,000 a year. I want to do that. And then they go on YouTube and they see a video that says become a software engineer in 3 weeks. You might become a software engineer in 3 weeks, but you're not going to get hired by Google during that track, is what I'm saying.
So funny. Okay, nice one, Jerry. So, John, what do you have for us based on that?
Yeah.
Are you there, John? Oh,
I think we lost him.
hello. He's still with us. His
with
network is
anyone
not
in
good.
life general. And I don't believe anyone can become a software developer in 3 days or in
No.
3 weeks, like you said. That's not possible. Can you hear me?
No, I can't. I can't. I don't know if you can start all over again. The network is actually very bad at your side.
Hello, can you hear me? Are you with me? I think I'm having some network issues over here.
Right, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay, I'm clear.
Yeah, a little bit. You are
So Andrew, I think it's from yours.
really okay. So let's try it now. Hello, hello, Jerry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then it's from John Bosco's side.
Andrew, I think.
Okay, okay. Oh man.
Okay. Okay. What I want to add to what Jerry said is this: it's not okay to compare yourself with values to person, and then it's okay with months. Because why not have done an experience software? Can you hear? Should I start again?
Yeah, you can, you can.
Should I start all over again?
Yeah, you can, bro. You can. Oh shit.
Jerry, can you hear me?
I can. Yeah.
Huh?
I think John, I think the network is from your end. Maybe you should change the position of your Wi-Fi.
Okay. Okay. Should I start all over again, or should I continue from where I stopped?
The network is still cranky, so I don't know.
Andrew, should I start all over again?
Yeah, you can start because I'm the one live streaming right now, so my viewers won't be able to hear what you're saying. So it's advisable for you to start all over again.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're
Are we,
good now. We're good.
um. Okay. Okay. We,
Oh shit! I
We
think
lost him.
I think we lost him. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's just me and you now. Okay. So I guess we can we can continue right. We're lost in the network, but that's one of the that's one of the biggest challenge we face here in Nigeria based on software development because the network here is very bad and not just the
Yeah.
network being bad, the data subscription is very expensive here in Nigeria because we have few of those actually involved in data connection or whatever they might call it. So I'll probably ask you some questions.
Hmm.
Okay. So the next question I have here is okay,
Hey, he's back.
it's back. Okay. But it's still
yeah.
having the same challenge.
Nigerian network. Nigeria.
How are you guys to
Is
complain
it okay now?
about some milliseconds ago? So, okay, okay. So,
uh,
okay, so you can answer the question now.
okay, yeah. So, like I was saying earlier, I said Jerry has said it all. It's not advisable at all to compare yourself with anybody. Okay, so likewise in software development, it's not okay to compare yourself with anybody because some people are quite smart, some people are smarter. They they could figure out some concepts about things very quickly. So everyone needs to take his or her time to learn on his own pace. Just understand the information and assimilate it at your own pace. Don't rush everything. Don't rush it. And then secondly is I don't think anybody can become a software developer in 2 weeks or even in a month. Like from zero to advanced software developer in a month. That's not possible. Okay. So I don't believe in such posts. Maybe you can grab the basics, but becoming an experienced software developer that you can get up something at production ready, I don't think that's possible.
Okay, nice one, nice one. Still almost the same thing with what Jerry said. It is not possible to learn how
Yeah.
to code in 3 weeks or a month or 3 months. Okay, I think my advice to beginners out there is that don't just compare yourself with others. Don't do that because we all learn at a different speed. And I guess one thing you should also be focused on is the best way we should learn. Because I might probably learn better with ebooks or probably with video tutorials.
Yeah.
And if you don't get to figure out the best way for you to learn, you will actually grow. So you have to figure out, do you learn better by seeing pictures or do you learn better by reading books? So that's all that matters. Then when you're able to figure out the best way for you to learn, you put it into practice. Then when you read new things, you jot down things. You understand? So I guess that is the best thing here is not to compare yourself with others, but to compare yourself with yourself some years back or some months back. Were you able to create CSS animation some months ago? Okay, no, I wasn't able to create that some months ago, and today I'm doing that, and today I'm even able to use some more advanced libraries to do that. So that's how you should compare yourself. Compare yourself with who you were some years back, and not comparing yourself with someone out there. You can actually use someone out there as a motivation to learn better, to grow. You understand? But I don't think it is a very good idea to compare yourself with someone else. So
Okay.
I think I've said my next question. I think I have said something already about it, but based on you, Jerry, are you there? Okay, John, you'll be the one to answer this
Yeah.
question. Okay, okay, okay. Jerry, we have you back. So, based on this, what do you think is the smartest way to learn? Like the best way to learn? I've said something about it already, which is figuring out the best that works for you. Is it ebook or is it um, tutorials on YouTube? So, what do you think is the smartest or the best way for a beginner to learn how to code as a self-taught programmer?
Yeah. I There is no best way to learn. There's no best way. I can't say this is the best way to learn because everybody has the way that they has the way or has ways that they learn better. So maybe the way you learn might not be the way that I myself I learn. So I can't say this is the best way to learn. But all I would say is when you want to learn, learn from the best. Okay, don't don't just learn from any YouTube channel or from anybody. When you want to learn from the best so that you will learn the best of what you are learning and get better in it.
Okay, nice one you have here. So what about you, Jerry?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. There's no best way to learn. I think it's like, I don't know, if you've ever written a research paper, you always want to find the good sources. You don't want to just be quoting Wikipedia all day long. Uh, find some people that you respect, that you think that they have decent code and they can teach well. Uh, yeah, I don't think there's a right way to learn or best way. I think it's dangerous to think that there is too, because then you're like, well, am I doing this the best way? or am
Yeah.
I doing? Because then you're just stopping yourself from progress. Just do something, and like if you're doing it for a while and it doesn't work, then try something else. But if it's working for you, just keep doing it.
Okay, nice, 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 nice. Okay, I guess that is all the questions I have here on my list. So the question I probably want to ask right now is, some years back, software is the main stuff. Like software development is the main stuff. Like it is said that software swallowed the world, and today AI, artificial intelligence, is eating up software. So what do you think is this future of software development in maybe 5 years time? Technology is really growing very, very fast. So what do you think is the future of software development in 2 years or 3 years or 10 years time? Just as software swallowed the world, and today AI is actually eating up software. Hope you grab right.
Where actually is the AI eating up the software?
Yeah, it is. You understand, but
Uh,
I saw this post on a Google video. You understand,
yeah.
like it is on the software, but no, everybody's like moving to the AI aspect of life. You understand? Today you can see some software like what is this popular website whereby you can build your website within a many minutes. It is developed with AI. You understand? So something that a software developer should do for you and get paid is something a robot will do for you faster and better, just the way you want it. An AI robot will do for you. So what do you think, based on that aspect, what do you think is the future of software development job? That's what I mean to say, bro.
Um,
You are
I
confused.
think the future of software development job is that software is here to stay, and it's still humans that will write the software of the future. Okay, I don't believe the AI is more like a hype. Okay, that was
Seriously,
used last
with
year.
what you
The same
said,
thing
I
with
don't.
machine
With what you
learning
said,
and some other thing.
with what you said, John, I don't think you have been listening to latest developments in software. I don't think you have
I've
been
been
doing that.
I've been I've been listening to everything.
Seriously,
I've been
okay,
seeing them all.
okay,
So
okay. I
I
won't
think
argue
AI
with
is
you.
more
I won't
like
argue with
I'm
you.
not saying that AI is not the big thing that is coming. No, I'm not saying AI is not the big. AI is quite huge. Okay, but comparing it, saying AI is coming to eat up software development or coming to
Take our jobs.
push out the software developers, that I don't think that will happen. So I don't think that will happen. I'll say everybody, we need to learn to get better and get better and better every day. So AI is not. I can't say because I'm not an expert in AI, so I can't say anything. I will only talk about the domains that
What you
I'm
see.
quite experienced in. So
Okay.
what I would say is yes. So I can't really say much in it, but all I just know is that humans will write the code of the future. Maybe AI will AI might format it and make it better, but humans will write the code of the future. So that's it.
Okay. What about you, Jerry? What can you say about that?
I don't know if Jerry has anything to say.
The future of software development is that there's always going to be a need for people to maintain legacy code. So no matter what you're learning now, there will be jobs for it.
Exactly, bro. So I can take the fear away from me, right? I can take the fear away from me that nobody's taking my job, right? So
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much everything on life of a software developer today. It's nice having you both today on the platform. So before we call it a day, I want you to do one more thing for me, please. I want you to advise beginners out there, advise them what you think they should do. Just an overview based on our talk today. If you have a beginner or if you have a brother listening to this video today, what do you think should be your advice to would give your advice to them?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, Jerry, you can. You have this
Mm,
round. You can.
Okay. Uh, I guess to sum up everything I've been saying, learn the basics, follow people or find people that you respect and follow them, see what they're doing. Try and become part of a community. I think one of the best, well, the best and worst things you could do is join something like Practical Dev, right? Like there's lots of people that are connected to the industry that are talking about stuff. You got to filter out some of the things that people are just trying to get clickbait articles, but there's some good stuff on there. Uh, just get connected to whatever community you're trying to join, and then realize that you're gonna fail a lot. Like whenever you're building something, things aren't gonna work for a long time, and then they're gonna work, and it's gonna make you super happy. But you have to be ready for that. So I guess that's probably the best advice I can give to beginners is, learn the basics, find a community, and acknowledge you're going to fail, if I had to sum it up.
Okay, okay. So what about you, John?
no, I don't think I still have anything that I would like to work. I would like to add to what Jerry said. Okay, just learn the basics. Join a community. That's very very important. Join a community. Okay, and also and acknowledge that you fail and build a lot of things or build or learn something new every day. Just try as much as possible to learn something new every day.
Okay. So it's nice having
Yeah.
Jerry. It's nice having you and John Bosco here. I was able to actually learn one or two things from you two today. So as you said earlier, Jerry, you're a full stack software developer, and John, you're a full stack software developer. How do our viewers get to reach you guys? Like, how do they get to reach you guys? I know for sure Jerry has a YouTube channel, you get, but how do developers get to reach you, maybe to talk to you or get to learn from you? So Jerry, how do developers out there get to reach you? What platforms?
Uh, yeah, yeah, you can get me. I'm pretty active on Twitter nowadays, so pretty much for Twitter, YouTube, and I think on I'm the Code Nut, the same thing. If you want to drop a link in the description of the video or whatever, but I'm on there. If you got questions, shoot them to me. I'm more than happy to talk about code.
Okay, cool. So what about you,
Okay,
John?
so you can you can reach me on Twitter. You can reach out to me on Twitter. I still I think I'm active. I'm also active on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, but you can reach out to me on Twitter. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn.
Okay, so how do they reach out to you? Is it by your name, John Bosco, or maybe, or
Oh, it's on Twitter is at Savio Bosco. I think I probably need to drop the link at the
okay?
comment section
Okay,
in
nice.
the
So
video.
the thing is that, guys, I will drop a link
Okay,
for you
so
to reach
it's at
either.
John Bosco.
I'll drop a link for you guys to either reach Jerry or John Bosco. So whoever you want to reach or build something with or interact or ask any question, I think they are the best people you can actually ask questions out there. They are very, very good. So thanks for having you guys today, and it's nice having you guys today. So thank you, Jerry, and thank you, John, for being with us. And I wish,
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
I wish in the future we can also talk about something else, something else.